Welcome to Relatable Wisdom, the podcast where real people share timeless ideas. I'm your host, Wisdom Okonkwo, and in every episode we dive into the philosophies, quotes, poems, and life lessons that shape how we live, think, and grow. No matter where you are in life, this show is here to remind you wisdom is everywhere, and it's always relatable most of the times. My guest today is Cynthia Lee. I'll allow her introduce herself. I can't wait to listen to the quotes she has to share with me.
Tell us your name and what you do.
My name is Cynthia. I am the CEO and founder of the mobile app Tree. Tree is a marketplace app that allows users to come online and build a business using not only their everyday skills, but their creative outlets, their talents, and their passions as well. This is a project that I'm really passionate about, and I seek to change the way that we look at entrepreneurship as well as who can be a business owner.
Wow, welcome to the podcast, Cynthia Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Wisdom. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, what is the quote you want to share with me today?
So the big one for me is to, and this is not verbatim. I don't know if I made this up or, but it resonates deeply with my journey. Is to
Okay,
not
that's open.
is to not look at the entire staircase, to just look at the very first step. Take that very first step. So yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. To not look at the entire staircase and just take one step.
Yes. Yes. One step at a time.
I feel like I should ask the very first question that comes to mind,
Yeah.
which is for most persons. There is no staircase.
Mm,
There's just this big empty space
mm,
between them and the thing that they want to do. And so
yeah.
they're trying to create the staircase as they go along.
Well, I feel like we have an idea of all that will come when we're embarking on a journey. We kind of have a vague idea. They're not concrete steps, right? But we have a vague idea.
Yeah,
We would need to do this. We would need to do that. We would need to do this. How will I find we kind of grasp for solutions and a perfect setup before we even embark on it. As humans,
yeah,
we like to have control. We like to go into situations with knowing that we have control over them or how they're going to go. And sometimes when we don't have the answers, we come across like the what do you say, paralysis by analysis,
mm,
where we never end up taking that step because we're so overwhelmed with these possibilities and the unknown and things like that. So yeah, it can be overwhelming and it can be scary and it can lead us to not even, go after what we really want to go after.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if you watched the these horror movies. I don't know if it's I can't even remember the I don't know if it's a quiet place, but the basic principle is that I'm not sure it's I think it's a different movie. You can't open your eyes and look at these things, right? And
The bird box.
yeah. That's the movie.
Yeah,
Okay, you
yeah.
watched it. Yeah, I see you're a movie
Yeah.
fan. Okay, so it will be easy to say what I want to say next. That
Yeah.
usually you could open your eyes, but you have to open it fast, and you need to close your eyes, and you if you see this thing, it's gonna scare you, and you do crazy things
Yeah.
and all that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
curious, what has been a staircase that you opened your eyes, looked at the staircase, and you had some chills and you had to like, ooh, nah, let's I put
Yeah.
my eyes here.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I feel like when I decided, like, committed to the idea of building this app,
Yeah,
I was flooded, and people, when I started telling people about it, they were flooding me with questions like, well, how are you going to do it? Like, and I
yeah.
had no idea. I had no idea. I'm not even like a tech
Uh,
person, I had no clue, but all I knew was that I was committed and I was going to build this app. So, yeah.
yeah. Wow. It's like and like I'm trying to like play the scenarios in my head, and I'm
Hmm.
like, like, oh, Cynthia, what are you working on? I
Yeah.
want to make. I have this concept where I want to make an app that helps people start businesses
Mhm.
will excuse like, "Oh, how you gonna
Mhm.
do that?" Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly. And that
and
was
and
literally my answer. That was literally, I was just like, I don't know, but I'm going to do it, But it's like, the thing is, like, when you commit when you commit to it and that step appears, so you don't have to see it
yeah,
fully. You just commit to it and it will appear.
yeah. And I'm trying to imagine the look on their face and like, yeah, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Are you are, are you girl, stop playing.
Yeah, no, honestly, because this is not my field at all. But what is my field is, I'm passionate. I'm so passionate about helping people. I'm so passionate about, introducing new ways of being unconventionality, those things, So they kind of just worked. It just kind of showed up in this nature. But this was the tree is a reflection of my own personal journey. And so I kind of took my journey and I was like, gonna build a platform out of my experience of what I call a multi-passion business. So multiple passions
Yeah,
is what I started monetizing. And I was just like, oh my goodness, everyone is actually a business owner using just our everyday skills. I want to bring this to the
yeah,
world. I want to show everyone. So that's how it worked
yeah.
out.
Wow, wow. Now that I think of it, I realize that most of the impossible per se, they're not actually impossible. They're just subjective impossible. Because when
Yeah.
we look at
Mhm.
it, building an app and not knowing code or any of those things, I'm assuming you don't know code, right? Based
And
the way
you
the
are
story has been
correct.
going so far. Okay. I just want to make sure that I'm not
Yeah.
assuming what is not okay, right? It's not it's something that other persons have done. Building a business is something that other persons have done. It's not an impossible, right? It's not like
Yeah.
you're trying to build a staircase
Yeah.
while you're moving on the journey and you don't even know what you're doing. It's not like you're pushing the
Yeah.
edge of humanity, right?
Yeah.
Literally there's a plan. It's just that most of the times we're just too scared of the staircase
Yes.
to even
Yes.
move or take a step.
Yes. Yeah, and that's why it's so important to, like, like, place prioritize momentum and, like, just these small
Mm,
incremental steps that you can take, because your confidence gets built along the way, as you just take
yeah,
this I mean, like, the simplest step of even clarifying, being clear on your goals, being clear on what it is that you want to achieve. That's huge right there, because it's not this vague ethereal thing anymore. You know what I mean? Now it's like,
yeah,
I highly recommend writing things down on paper, because that comes with clear focus. In order to write it down, you have to be clear and focused, And
yeah,
when you have clear and focus behind your vision, that creates, like, the beginning of momentum, So it's so important.
yeah. It is. It is. You talked about writing. Writing gives a sense of clarity, right? Sitting
Yeah.
down to write down your thoughts and express yourself gets
Yeah.
you. Like writing is a form of thinking. It's a form of
Mhm.
active thinking. It's not just, oh,
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
thinking. I've been
Mhm.
thinking about some ideas, and I'm like, okay. It's like, okay. Recently, I came up with I was trying to work on a certain project and podcast, right? And so I had to like come up with really good names for the podcast.
Mhm.
And for like 2 weeks, I was just thinking, what's the great name? What's the best name? And I was like, enough
Mhm.
is enough. I'm
Yeah.
going to give myself 2, 3 hours, and I'm going to brainstorm every possible terrible idea I can think of. And I
Yeah.
and what I did is was like it was like an application process. I had like probably 100 ideas, and I was
Yeah.
like, okay, let's shortlist it to 20. Okay, out of that
Yeah.
20, which one could
Mm.
give us into potential lawsuits? We'll
Mhm.
strike it out.
Mhm.
Let's take a quick pause. If you're enjoying this conversation and want more thought-provoking ideas straight to your inbox, join the Relatable Wisdom email list. It's free, quick, and filled with bite-sized insights, inspiring quotes, and behind-the-scenes reflections from our guests. Just head to relatablewisdom.com/join. That is relatablewisdom.com/join. Or tap the link in the show notes. And hey, subscribing to the podcast helps more than you think, and it's free. So if you haven't already, hit that follow button wherever you're listening. All right, let's get back to the conversation.
which ones have
Mm.
ambiguous meaning, where you say one thing and then that thing is an insult to other people, right? Their names like
Mm.
that. Let's try that. And then I had five. I was like, okay, which one do I really feel like I
Mhm.
feel chills, right?
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
I eventually
Yeah.
got a name for the brand, and I'm like, yay, yeah, we
Yeah,
go.
yeah, yeah. And that's another big thing too that I highly recommend prioritizing is like you said, what gives you chills. And so I often say like follow your highest excitement because your excitement is going to carry that is that fuel behind that fire, right? Your fire is
Yeah,
like your vision, that's your goal, that's your end goal, but your passion, your excitement, that's your fuel, and
yeah,
that's going to make it more impactful. That's going to make it so you don't burn yourself out, because
yeah,
you're working on something that you're passionate about. And in those moments where things kind of feel stuck, or you're kind of like in the, because this is highs and lows, peaks and valleys and things like
yeah.
that. And when you're kind of like in that messy middle, it's your passion, it's your excitement that carries you through. So following,
Yeah.
like connecting to that is so important.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is important. It's very, very important. I've noticed this, right? When I talk to people, I sometimes
Mhm.
like, oh, I want to start a podcast, and I'm like, okay, so what do you want to start a podcast about? And they're like, oh, I don't really know. And I'm like, okay,
Mm.
that's not a no,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
not it to laugh about. I don't know why you're
Yeah.
laughing. We've all been there, right?
And,
uh,
it's
I was like,
it's just
I was
that
like,
when you speak on it, I laugh because one of those things where, like, yes, you're excited about it,
yeah.
but you know exactly, it's still very vague,
Okay,
and
yeah,
so yeah, it's not one of those clear focused things.
okay. And then like, let's come out of the shadows, right?
Yeah.
Worst thing that is going to happen is you start a podcast. The first 20 episodes, you talk about very random things, and you realize that okay, these 20 things, they're things that I'm not. It's not my thing per se. But at the 21st episode, you found your thing. You're like, oh yeah, I love this conversation with Cynthia Lee. I really love to talk about entrepreneurship and starting a business and stuff like that. So wow, wow. And I also love
Yeah.
this one about this other guy. So I think I love to talk about business and helping people who've
Yeah.
never really done business the first time.
For
Like,
sure.
that's what I'm passionate about. I love that, right?
Yeah.
Versus you sitting there and saying, I think I need to meditate on these things. And all you have is
Mhm.
thoughts to think, right? You want to
Mhm.
go into the world, experience things, have data points, and say, okay, yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
this is for me, this is not for me, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's like wondering if I ask you if you've never tasted any African delicacy, right? And I'm
Mhm.
asking you, Cynthia, what's your favorite African dish? And you're like, well, wisdom, I think I'll think about that.
Mhm.
Let me get back to you
Mhm.
probably 2 weeks from now. And
Mhm.
I'm like, and I'm looking at you and I'm like, is there something I'm missing, Cynthia? Okay, right? Right now, I'm assuming you've not tasted any of the African dishes, have you?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, okay. So it's a perfect example, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
same thing if you recommending foods from the US to me, like, oh yeah, you should definitely taste this, and I'm like, I should
Yeah.
think about it, right? I'll tell you which
Yeah.
one is my favorite, and I'm like,
Mhm.
just go and take a bite, right? And then you
Yeah.
realize that nah, nah, nah. I thought pizza was a thing, but nah, that stuff
Yeah.
is just overrated. I don't
Yeah.
like it, right? It becomes more definite, right?
Yeah.
And yeah,
For
that's
sure.
the thing about taking steps, right?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. You find your path, you find your direction, or the steps appear along the way, and they come through like these trials and these tribulations, these errors and things like that. That's a part of it. It's not separate from it, unless you are kind of lost or kind of I don't know, confuddled at a thing. You can't really be found. You can't have a clear definition. They're two sides of the same coin.
Yeah,
You kind of have to be, kind of vague or lost to in order to have clear and uh, your vision is so defined. You have to have that. You can't
yeah. I
you
mean,
can't grow without being in those moments where you're lost.
yeah, you can't steer a parked car, so you have to be
Yeah,
moving so you can change direction. And
for sure.
most of the decisions that we spend time thinking about, they are reversible decisions, right? I mean, if I start
Yeah.
a business today or I start a podcast and I realize that that podcast that's like the thing I hate to talk about. Well, what happens? I stop the podcast and I move on with my life, and it
Yeah.
just happens to be
Yeah.
one part of the story I tell in dinner time. That I did start a
Yeah.
podcast about so and so
Yeah.
topic, and I realized that that was a terrible decision. And
Yeah.
it's I'm not scarred for life, right? Most of the decisions like
Yeah.
that, starting a business is you know in most of the times, right? It's things like that, right? It's not like
Yeah.
I'm going to I'm deciding to have a child, right? No,
Yeah.
that's no no no
Can't
that's
can't take that back. Yeah.
you can't take
That's
back. You
here.
can't say, oh, I don't think no, I'm not interested anymore. Like, nah, nah, that's
Yeah.
not how things are
Yeah.
done over here, right? And you
Yeah.
see, the thing is that decisions like that, people don't overthink it as much as they overthink decisions like making what's it called starting a business, right? And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
uh, I'm like, I really haven't seen someone like it's in rare cases have I seen someone say, I'm thinking if I should have a child or not. I don't really
Yeah.
know. I'm
Yeah.
still thinking about it, right? I mean,
Yeah.
you know, right?
Yeah. It's so
Right?
true, because when you do these kinds of things like embarking on a business journey,
Yeah,
it's so scary because you're really stepping into the unknown. And it's not like, I guess when you're having a kid, you kind of have a general vague idea of what to expect. We kind of create this picture of us being parents as little kids. So we are kind of, locked in on this
yeah,
vision, this idea. But when you're stepping into, this is how it was for me. It was, all these kind of questions just popped up, like, am I capable of doing this? Like, am I going to be taken serious? How will I navigate this path? Like, how will I make sure that I'm doing something that stays in alignment with my values? Do I have the wherewithal to continue when things get hard? There's all these things that pop up that are like kind of reflective of you, especially when we don't. For me, I don't have a lot of people around me that start businesses. So I do have a lot of people around me that have kids, though. So I kind of have a general
yeah,
idea of
yeah.
what
I
to
see.
expect. But for starting
Yeah,
a business, it's just like, hello,
uh,
anyone? Has anyone?
yeah. You're in a desert, and you're like,
Yeah,
hello,
yeah.
is there anyone?
Yes, it's so true. It's so true. Oh my
You're
goodness.
looking,
And
you're just
especially with
looking for
like,
the sign of life, even if,
yes, yes.
yeah,
And especially when with starting like an app, that's even a smaller percentage in my experience. I don't know anyone. I
yeah,
don't know anyone
yeah.
that's
I
starting an
mean,
app. You know what I mean?
yeah, there's a
So
lot of brick
it's
mortar businesses than the
yeah,
app world. I'm like, the app?
yeah,
What are you doing app? But you're not
exactly.
techie, like, and
Yeah,
they're like,
yeah,
yeah,
exactly. And this is not AI either. So this is completely like,
nah,
you know what I mean? In the era of AI, I'm completely like not AI. So there's
yeah,
even, it's just a lot. It's a lot, but I'm here and I'm doing it. So
yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's the one of the things about being an entrepreneur is that if like right now, if anybody tells me that they want to start a business, they want to improve themselves, right? They're like,
Mm,
oh, like I like to think of myself as an older brother, right? There's a young kid from the community like, uncle, I want to improve myself. I really want to like be the best version of me.
mm,
What should I do?
mhm,
The advice I'll give them is start a business, right? Even though if you do, it's not something you do long term, just start a business. I mean,
mm,
because a business will reveal so many things, so many of your
mhm,
shortcomings. You
mhm.
you will
Yeah,
get a mirror, like
yeah,
reflect. You see that, oh, you have to
yeah,
fix this. You don't know how to talk to people. You have to learn how
yeah,
to talk, communicate with people.
yeah,
You have to
mhm,
so many things, and
yeah,
you have to face your fears. Like you're scared
yeah.
of
Oh
this.
my goodness. Yes,
Just
yes,
get this, and you have to learn because now you're doing something
yes,
that you've never done in your life, and you're like, how do
yes.
I do this? You have to learn to be curious again and say, okay, you're reaching out to the person who's designed the app. You're like, okay, why it will cost this? Why would this cost this? Okay, what's the
Yeah.
importance of this? And like you asking questions out of curiosity because you have no idea what they're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely have to be willing to be the student. And that's a theory that I live by in life because I don't want to pretend like I know everything because that's
Yeah.
harder for me.
No
First of
one
all,
knows everything. Like
yeah.
no one,
And
not even the geniuses.
I don't want to wear that mask because that's too hard to uphold. Like, I just
Yeah.
rather just play the other side and just, show up as me. And I'm willing to learn. I'm open for that. And not only that, but as you are growing your business, you're not only growing your business, but like you said, you're growing personally, you're growing mentally.
Yeah.
You have to reframe your mindset. I've had to reframe my mindset so many times. I have notebooks wisdom where I'm just like writing down my fears and I'm writing
Wow.
down the higher truth associated with it, because this has pushed me so much out of my comfort zone. But
Yeah.
because I've been pushed out of my comfort zone, I've come into more of a fuller version, more of an abundant version. And that's without
Yeah.
material abundance. I mean, like, my spiritual abundance or like just knowing who I am because I've been challenged, because I've been put in situations
Yeah.
where, I'm so uncomfortable. I've had no choice but to, shrink and go back to where it's comfortable
Yeah.
or, expand and make that my new comfort zone. And I'm always going to choose to expand. So, yeah.
Sometimes you just in the middle of the night you're staring at the ceiling and you're like, I mean, I could go back to
Yeah,
this
yeah.
thing, or I mean, I could go to the
Yeah, and
right?
that's the hard part for me is because yes, I know that is an option, but that is not my disposition at all. Like I'm very
Exactly.
bullheaded. Like when I
Yeah.
commit to something, like I'm gonna rise to that challenge. I'm gonna face it head on.
Yeah.
Because like for me, the fear of shrinking back, going backwards, that's scarier to me than moving forward.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the only thing about the status quo is that you know what it looks like, right? But
Yeah,
this world we're trying to go, it's an
yeah,
uncharted territory, right?
yeah,
It's a no
yeah,
land, right?
yes.
But we're like, I mean, do I live by what I see or do I live by faith?
Yes, yes, it's so
Right?
true. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes we just, we're going head on and head on and head on, and like, my horns are, they're tired. I need to rest.
Yes. Oh my
It's like a
goodness.
goat fighting, and
Yeah.
you're like, oh yeah. I was like, let me
Yeah.
take in some time to breathe in and breathe out, and then
Yeah,
yeah, we'll go
yeah,
again.
yes. And that's one of the biggest things that I've learned from this journey. And it's not just all push, 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 push. I've learned the dance, the flow, because,
Yeah,
it's action, it's rest, and it's reflect, and then you repeat. Action, rest,
yeah,
reflect, repeat. It's a dance because in those moments where you are like resting, that's where I find I get my best solutions. I get my best like ideas and things like that, and then what I'm moving out of alignment instead of like this pressure to make things happen. That's where you burn yourself out when you're moving from this pressure. But when you're taking inspired action, you kind of wait and allow things to line up, and then when it's time to take that action, then you're making bigger leaps. Yeah.
uh,
That's funny.
well, it's so surprising what happens when I'm having a great conversation. Is I notice
Yeah.
that the time moves faster. Before I just
Yes.
ask one or two questions to the guest, and I'm like, time is
Yeah.
over, and I'm wondering what's
Yeah.
going on here. Something
Yes.
ain't right. Yeah. Well.
No, I find that those are
Uh,
the best conversations though, when things just flow naturally. There's not this kind of
yeah.
interview style. I prefer just conversations. Let's just talk. Let's
Yeah.
just get into it.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. I would love to continue this conversation, and you know, the subject area you deal on is helping people turn their passion into business and profit. And I do have a podcast that helps people go beyond just having a job and actually create a business built around their lifestyle and what they do
Yeah.
normally. And
Yeah.
I'd love to interview you and really double down and let's just say talk to you again.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that works. Yeah, definitely. Because I definitely would like to get, share more about it specifically because I know how beneficial and impactful that is going to be for everyone. So,
Okay. Before I forget, where can listeners learn more about the app and also connect with you?
so you can visit my landing page where you can find some more information about the app, and that is an app named tree.com. And you can follow
Wait,
me
wait,
on
wait, 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 wait.
what's
Is the
that?
website name an app named tree.com?
That's the the URL.
Wait, so the URL is called an app named tree.com.
An app named Tree, but www.anappnamedtree.com is the entire
Oof.
URL.
Wow. I was confused. I was like, oh, wow. Wow.
You thought that it was like inappnamedtree.com.com? Like what
No, no,
the
no,
hell
no,
did
no,
you
no,
think?
no, no. That was what I was thinking. When you said an app named Tree, I thought that the an app named Tree wasn't part of the URL, but it was you
Ah,
introducing the URL. So it's called tree.com. It's an app named tree.com.
yes,
And I was like,
yes,
wow,
yes,
I
the
had to like
entire
clarify
thing.
that.
Yeah.
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 Wow,
Yep.
that's a good choice. I won't say good, but it's an interesting choice of domain.
I think it's brilliant because it sticks out, and that's what I'm all about is like,
Yeah, yeah,
unconventionality and authenticity. So it speaks to my
yeah,
nature 100%. Yeah.
yeah. Wow, an app named tree.com. I'll put the link in the
Yes.
description so listeners can just click and go directly to the site. Thank you so
Okay,
much,
cool.
Cynthia. It's been an
Yeah.
absolute delight chatting with you.
I would like to talk about my social media pages too.
Okay,
Um
okay,
because you can follow me on I Instagram and TikTok, and
okay,
my handle for that is an app name underscore tree.
okay. An app
Um,
named underscore tree.
yes, and there you can find some more tips and some insights that's going to help you along your business journey.
Wow, thank you so much. I'll put those in the description too, so listeners can
Yes.
just go directly to the site. Thank you so much, Cynthia.
All right. Thank you, Wisdom. It's been great.
You've been listening to Relatable Wisdom, and I've been your host, Wisdom Okonkwo. You've been listening to the podcast where every story, quote, and insight helps you see life a little differently. If you enjoyed today's episode, follow the show on your favorite podcast app and share it with someone who loved the conversation. For more inspiring voices and timeless wisdom, visit relatablewisdom.com. Until next time, keep living, learning, and collecting wisdom that matters most to you.